The Nile River is one of the transboundary water resources shared among 10 African countries: Uganda, Kenya, Burundi, Sudan, South Sudan, Egypt, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Tanzania, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. In 1999, the countries sharing the Nile formed the Nile Basin Initiative as an institution to offer a platform for consultation and coordination among the basin countries for sustainable utilization and management of these shared resources.
If we are going to develop as Africa, we need to be able to cooperate on how we utilize that water, so that what is of benefit to me in my territory is also can support the ambitions of another person, or I can understand the other member states' perspective in how we utilize these resources. So that way, that's the importance of our engagements in transboundary water resources management, because the resources are not exclusively owned by either of us, and we all have aspirations for socio-economic development, and therefore we need to collaborate on how we share these resources and utilize them for our development.
Indeed, with the slogan, "One River, One People, One Vision," the Nile Basin Initiative has jointly implemented a number of projects aimed at improving the lives of the people in the basin. One of the recent projects is the Nile Cooperation for Climate Resilience, aimed at helping the basin countries to address the issues of climate change.
Due to riverine and flash flooding, several major road infrastructures in the hotspot areas have been damaged. People have drowned. Houses washed away in magnitudes that are not fathomable. Therefore, collective and integrated planning in addressing the dynamics of water resources amidst the impacts of climate change is glaring, and this needs new innovative solutions.
We are the Nile Secretariat, we have the Nile Sub-CU Basin in Kigali, we have the Entro Basin in Addis Ababa, we have Lake Victoria Basin, Commission Basin in Kisumu, and we have a civil society called Nile Basin Discourse. Now, what are we doing in regard to this project? Number one is a capacity building at the national level. Capacity building in terms of expert in terms of data and information sharing. But second is all about managing the water quality of water bodies in the basin.
One of the challenges facing the Nile Basin Initiative is over-dependence on foreign financing for the implementation of the basin's development projects. Uganda's Minister of State for Water and Environment, Beatrice Anywa, is of the view that Africa can actually generate more revenue from the transboundary water resources through carbon credit.
We can also start now thinking inward. We have actually been donating the carbon emission which has been sunk by our natural resources, including the Nile, the Lake Victoria, the water bodies, the forests, the wildlife, our gardens, have been sinking emissions that come from industrialized world. We emit very little, but we have been doing so much to clean up that bad emissions. Now we are saying, can we put a cost to that? Because the carbon credit is now the way to move. At least we have a resource. Can we tap in the funding for carbon credit for the cleaning? I'm just using a layman's language.
The Nile Basin countries now need to collaborate and get experts in carbon credit to help quantify the water resources.
Resources like the Nile water that we can talk about, then we partner in to see that how much is sunk, how do we quantify it, how do we value it, then how do we present it to the global market about the carbon credit of that resource, how much do we get and how much do we share. All this must be backed up by a regulation, legal framework. So that is why for us as a country, and not many countries have already put in place the regulations, and that's why those advanced countries and people with technology are taking advantage of us, and that's why I'm sounding a warning that we better look at our resource and we should not be taken for granted.
The Executive Director, African Ministers Council of Water, Dr. Rashid Mbazira, emphasizes that Africa needs to develop a strong business case for her water resources to drive transformation and development.
We are able to produce energy for industrialization, and therefore it's very easy to come up with a concession on a dam. It's the same thing if you invest in agriculture. You can sell the products to get a return on your investment, and that economic case can be made. But we in the water sector need to do more to create the business case for investing in water resources. If we do not, that's why we depend on external parties, because we take water for granted as an available good and it's free of charge. But water is not exactly free. It requires management, effective management, in order for it to be available of a quality that doesn't cause us health harm, but also assures that it's utilized where we need it and it's available where we need it in order to drive the economy. So until we make that business case, we shall always be writing proposals for things that, well, it's not insufficient to be able to drive the agenda or the potential that we have in the water resources that we have. For me, the focus should therefore be that we drive the business case for water resources management as a driver for energy production, as a driver for food production, as a driver for health, and that's what will attract more investment from our domestic ministries of finance to develop our resources.
Principal Engineer, Water for Production in Uganda's Ministry for Water and Environment, Engineer Godfrey Hashakimana, points out that the Nile River presents a lot of opportunities for the people in the basin, including transport, energy, and agriculture.
In terms of Uganda utilizing the source of the Nile to ensure that we increase on food production, as a ministry we are looking at having bulk water transfer, where we are able to supply water in bulk, both to farmers, for farming, for livestock, and also for domestic purposes. So the source of the Nile is a very good asset for the ministry, and of course, as a country, we need to protect it jealously.
In a nutshell, the Nile River plays a key role in sustaining the lives of the people in the basin in the areas of agriculture, livelihoods, transport, and power generation. Adia Nakote, ABC.